Hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So today I'm going to talk about the Peculiar Wonderland. I'm going to do a guide on doing perfect clear for each of the Peculiar challenge. Now before that, let me just quickly introduce what is this Peculiar Wonderland. Essentially it's a new event as part of the Windblume Festival. How the Peculiar challenge works is that there will be 4 different particular trials. Each of these particular trial has different bosses to fight at the end. Today's, or rather the first trial being released is the Pyro Registry. Every 3 days later, we will get a new Peculiar trial with new Peculiar bosses at the end. And of course new Peculiar challenges as well. For the very first trial, we have 5 Peculiar challenges available. And the 5 Peculiar challenges, you don't need to do all 5. It will be 3 of it will be randomly selected for you to clear. Okay, so the concept of clearing these 3 challenges is to get enough points such that you can get 3 different blessings that will help you against the boss at the end of the 3 challenges. So now let's jump straight to look at the blessings. Okay, so these are the blessings. There's 3 different types. As far as I can tell so far, this always remains the same. For the first blessing, there are 2 options. One is this, normal and charge attacks be increased by 20%. Second is pyro resistance increased by 40%, which is quite useless honestly speaking. And the third blessing you have here is crit damage increased by 140%, or hydro, cryo, and electro damage increased by 100%. So those are the permutations in terms of the blessings, at least those that I've seen so far after playing through. Okay, so the concept of the challenges, let's talk about the 5 challenges. Okay, so here you have the very first one, Stepping Stone Antics, and do bear in mind that there's 5, like I said, there's 5 available now. There will be one new one released per every 3 days. Okay, so the next one is Windblume Blessing. When it comes to the actual gameplay, perfect clear of each run, I'll go into that as well. I'll share the tips for you guys to know, as well as particular points to take note of. So you have Barrage Minuet, you have Great Bubble Crash, you have one-way traffic. One-way traffic, in my opinion, is easiest. Okay, so now let's look at the actual perfect run itself, and we'll look at the Stepping Stone Antics. Okay, so Stepping Stone Antics. You'll see 4 different blue spots. I believe that's for co-op, when you play co-op. Now the concept of Stepping Stone is actually very straightforward. Avoid the blocks that are shaking, because those are going to fall. Get crowns, as you can see, while avoiding and making sure that you stand on the blocks that are not shaking. If you notice how I play, you notice that I put priority on surviving. Why? Because it's very simple. The moment you fall, this challenge will end, and you will no longer get the chance to get any of the crowns. Each of these crowns will give you 5 fecundity points. If you can see from the top, each time I get a crown, I get a plus 5. So it's actually very important to make sure you don't fall in this challenge. Yes, getting crowns is important, but make sure you don't fall. In other words, you should not try hard. You should not try to go for every single crown. If you do that, it's going to be very easy for you to fall. Okay, so you actually need to pay attention to the shaking blocks. Just make sure that you get 1 to 2 crowns each round before the blocks collapse. And naturally, you'll be able to get 95 to 100 points just from getting the crowns, which means in this particular challenge I got 19 crowns, even though I did not try hard to get every single crown, because the more important thing is actually not to fall. Because when you don't fall, you get a bonus 60 points as well. And the most important thing is that the moment you fall, the challenge ends, which means you can't even get 95 points here. You will get maybe 10 points, 20 points, and you don't get the 60 as well. So it's a very, very, very huge difference if you fall, right? So the basic gist of it, the TLDR is simply don't fall. But what I mean is to not to try hard. Always target 1 to 2 crowns. Don't need to go for 3 or 4. Target 1 to 2 crowns. Make sure that you don't fall. I mean, obviously, if there's crowns nearby, you can get 3 or 4 without falling. By all means, go ahead. But the easier way is really to go for the crowns without falling, making sure that your focus is always on the blocks that are not shaking. And the time frame is really, really short. That's why I say you need to go for 1 to 2 crowns, and then you should focus on not falling. Alright, so that is the very first stage, Stepping Stone Antics. That's the perfect clear. And Stepping Stone Antics is actually the one that will give you the most points. It actually has the potential to give you the most points. Alright, now let's go back to the event. Or rather, we'll jump ahead to the next one. Okay, the next challenge we'll talk about is Windblume Blessing. I'm following the order in terms of the stage selection. The first view that I gave you guys. Windblume Blessing is very, very straightforward. Collect 15 crowns, 15 falling crowns, and the challenge will be completed. These crowns may change into red illusionary crowns, which will cause you to lose points when you touch them. But the points you lose are actually the crown points and not the fecundity points. So the whole concept of this stage is to get 150 points. When you touch these red flowers, they reduce 20 points here. You have a time limit here, so that is basically how the challenge works. Just make sure you get all the crowns, obtain all the crowns within the time limit, and you'll get 70 fecundity points. By the way, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. If I pronounce it wrongly, let me know. Okay, so 70 points here. This is actually the challenge that will give you the least amount of fecundity points. Because even the memory game, the one-way traffic, will give you more points than this on a perfect run. So this is like the easiest, I would say, because it's very easy to just collect 15 crowns without touching any of the red crowns. Even if you do touch the red crown, there's sufficient time to get the rest of the crowns, as long as you don't touch the red crowns too many times, yeah? So just to recap, getting each crown is 10 points. You'll need to get 15 crowns, and you'll be able to get these 70 fecundity points. The red crowns, upon touching them, will cause a minus 20 on your crowns in terms of the 150 that you need to meet. But it doesn't go negative, because I tried before. With 0 points when you touch a red crown or illusionary crown, you don't actually go negative, you just remain at 0. Okay, so that is the second challenge, the Windblume Blessing, which honestly speaking is really easy. So we'll go on to the next one in the list. Okay, the next one in my list is my personal favorite. It's the Barrage Minuet. Okay, concept for this is very simple. What I do is I usually go in one round in the circle. Just approach the crowns. Each of these crowns give you 5 points, 5 fecundity points. And while getting the points, just make sure you focus on avoiding. Sorry for the lag there. Just make sure you focus on avoiding all the attacks. The red pyro ones are easy to avoid anyway. It's the electro ones that are difficult. As you can see here, the electro points, they go at a faster speed and they become wider as well in a very, very quick pace. So I personally like to stay around this outer ring here, get crowns while avoiding this at the same time. There's actually no perfect score for not getting hit a single time. Okay, now let's talk about this. The last wave, this is actually very straightforward. Just go in a zigzag manner. You jump here, go back, you jump here, go back. So, sorry, you jump there, go back, jump there, go back. So it's very, very straightforward. Now, the point about this challenge is you just need to get hit less than 5 times and you will get 80 fecundity points. Even if you get hit once, you'll still get 80 points. But the caveat is that you actually get hit with you get -2 points each time you are hit. So if you get hit once, you will -2 points. So 2 points, honestly speaking, isn't that bad. So for this particular challenge, it's actually fine if you don't get the perfect clear per se, because there's no perfect score at the end of the challenge. You should focus on getting crowns though, because you get 5 points per crown, and you see here I got 10 crowns even though I didn't get every single crown. So that is the Barrage Minuet challenge for you guys, and it's really straightforward, and I find it to be the most fun. Now the next one, let's talk about it. Okay, next one is the Great Bubble Crash. This is very straightforward and honestly very easy. So I'll show you guys how to clear it. The good thing about this bubble crash is that other than getting points, 5 points per crown, there's also a perfect score at the end of it. If I didn't remember, it's the one that will give you the second most points, second only to the stepping stones antics. Now the key thing is to avoid the bubbles. Make sure you stay far away, because even if you are slightly near, you will get hit by the bubble. So you can see the concept is very straightforward. The concept is really straightforward. The crowns are always in one line, so just wait for the bubbles to go past, then just dash and get all the crowns. Yeah, it's very straightforward. And like I said, it gives a lot of points. You get points from the crowns. We got 13 crowns here. Reaching the destination with time limit, this is just the basic score for clearing the challenge. But by not getting hit by any missed bubbles, you get an additional bonus 20 points. So look at this. This is like 145 points from this challenge, and it's a lot easier than the stepping stone antics, even if stepping stone antics gives more points. I got like 155 once. I got 160 once from stepping stones antics. But for this, right, it's like so much easier for 145 points. So if you manage to get this challenge, congratulations. That's going to be your easiest way to clear and get high points. Alright, now let's talk about the very last challenge. Okay, next up we have one-way traffic. This is basically a memory game. You just need to remember the path to take. Now, if you don't have a good memory, like Goldfish, it's very simple. Just take a screenshot, because you have 1 minute to do the route. You can take a screenshot or a photo, and it's very easy to clear. But let's say you want to rely on your memory. What's the best approach? Personally, what I do is, I do this. I remember the number of steps for the first half. So for this case, it's 3, 3, 3. Alright, so it's very straightforward, 3, 3, 3. Visually, I remember the direction, the twists and turns of the route. In terms of the steps, I remember the number so that we don't miss up. Because miss up the number of steps, because even if you remember visually how the twists and turns are like, you won't remember at which point to turn. That is where remembering the number of steps comes in. Okay. So like I said, you have time to take a photo if you want to, and just refer to it. It's very straightforward. So 3, 3 and 3 again. And then this portion is where we remember that it was just turning, take 1 step, turn, take 1 step, turn. Alright, so for me, this memory game is pretty easy. There was one particular challenge, I had one that was really moving all around the place, 20 plus steps, I'm not joking. So for that, I end up falling, but it's fine. Most of the time, the memory challenge that you'll get is going to be very simple, like this, the one that I just showed. Just remember visually how the twists and turns are like, and remember the number of steps per turn for the initial part, and you'll be able to clear it easily on a first clear with perfect clear. Now let's talk about the number of points. So you get 60 points for clearing this. You actually get a -5 points if you fall, but if you don't fall, you will get 20 points as a bonus reward for doing a perfect clear. So for the memory game, depending on how you see it, I think it's easy. because even if you don't have a good memory, you can just take a photo and just refer, right? So that's like, memory game is easy, and it's 80 points, so it's still not the lowest. The lowest is the Windblume Blessing, because that is like the easiest challenge of all. Barber Mist is easy, but it's not the easiest per se, but it does give you a lot of points for the difficulty. Alright, so this is the 5 challenges. Let's talk about the event summary itself, the challenge rewards. Okay, so these are the Peculiar Wonderland challenges. From these, you get very nice rewards here, which is Primo Gems and Mora, as well as talent books. Okay, all the Mondstadt talent books, 2 Freedom, 2 Ballad, 2 Resistance and 2 Ballad. You see here I have 1200 collab coupons, because you can do, like I said, okay, you can do 6 times of that particular trial. Just do 6 times, complete it, and you'll get the 1200 coupons. And that's the maximum you can get for now. Now until they release the rest of the peculiar trials. Now the requirement to clear the trials are also very straightforward. You do need to make sure that you don't fall on single stone antics, don't get hit in Barrage Minuet, and just get 10 crowns in Windblume Blessing, which is really easy. So only these two are slightly difficult, the rest are all very easy. Okay, so in terms of the final boss, right, I'm not going to cover it much because it's pretty straightforward in terms of defeating the boss. Is a prior Regis fine, so make sure you bring Hydro characters in. They will do good damage against their shield. That's strategy the core, the flower core. Alright, so in the gist of it, this is what you can get from the Peculiar Wonderland rewards. So it's pretty good. You get 60 Primo Gems and 100k Mora. So that's nice. Alright, now let's skip ahead a little. Okay, this is just me claiming the rewards. So there's no additional rewards, it's just what you see here. These are the rest of the challenge. You have basically different talent books each day of the challenge. The rewards are more or less the same. Okay. Now let's go to the event shop. I think we should take a look at the event shop. Okay, so this is where the collect coupons comes in, the Peculiar Wonderland rewards. This is where the Windblume Ode is, our fantastic free to play weapon. Okay, not fantastic, but pretty good free to play weapon. And this is the other materials that you can spend collect coupons to get. The visible winds is basically the refinement material for this Windblume Ode. That's why you can buy up to 4 of it to make a R5 Windblume book. Ode or Ode, I'm not sure the pronunciation. Alright, so this is very straightforward guide on the Peculiar Wonderland, at least the very first phase of it, Peculiar Trial, or the Peculiar Conqueror 1, if I were to follow the event summary name earlier. So thanks everyone for watching. If you like the content, remember to like the video and click subscribe for more, yeah? Bye!